Hello everyone, it's averydawnside and welcome back to another video. It has been a hot second since I filmed a video, so I'm definitely excited to be back to doing it because all of my other videos were pre-recorded, so I'm excited to film another one. But today we're going to be doing a training time because I've been really behind on my training game, especially I've had Olive for like weeks and I haven't finished training her. So we're going to do that today. And we're going to be doing What Am I Afraid Of? So I asked all of you to submit little fears or worries onto my Instagram submission box. My Instagram is at averydawnside. If you are interested in following, I do a lot of interactive things there. But I asked you to submit things that you are afraid of, and I'm going to go through them and tell you if I'm afraid of them too. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so the first submission was from Sarah_MCN_, and they said birds. I'm actually not afraid of birds. I love birds, specifically pigeons. Pigeons are my favorite animal. I think that they are so cute. So no, I am not afraid of birds. The next person was Eden Roseway, and they said that they are afraid of old men. Yes, I am also afraid of this. I feel like this is a mutual fear, especially since I identify as a woman. I think it's really intimidating, especially if you know my history of my stalker story, which is another storytime video, a little plug. If you haven't seen that storytime video of mine, you should probably go watch it, because I just have a fear of men, like, overall, and I think a lot of people do, which it kind of is rough if you identify as a man, but yeah, old men are definitely scary. Not all of them, but some of them can be, especially in like weird places. So I agree, I am afraid of that. The next person was Maddie_Strawberry Paw, and they said that they were afraid of death. I actually got this one quite a few times. I would agree. I'm afraid of death, but I think I'm afraid of death specifically because it just means leaving behind people on Earth. I'm horrified at the idea of like if someone important to me passed away, knock on wood. I'm also horrified if I passed away, leaving behind people that are important to me. So I'm afraid of death for those reasons, but I think a lot of people are afraid of death because they might not know or don't know what to expect afterwards, or if you don't believe in something afterwards. It's like those fears, but I think my reason I'm afraid of it is a little bit different. But that's just a me thing. But I am afraid of death a little bit. Not like my number one fear, but it's definitely up there. The next person was Ali_Song_2209, and they said that they were afraid of sharks. And they said that I know that they are usually harmless, but they just scare me, and also being judged. So being judged was something that I used to be a lot more afraid of than I am now. I think I've gotten more comfortable with the idea of like, I'm not really sure how to describe that, but being judged is scary, but it's not one of my top fears. If people want to judge me, not everyone's going to be your biggest fan. So I think that's something that I've grown to learn throughout my years of living. So I would say not so much that one. And also sharks. I'm definitely afraid of like a shark attack, but not necessarily sharks themselves, just because my family is very like ocean fanatics, and my family is scuba divers, so I've actually been diving with sharks before, which was a really cool experience. It was just like kind nurse sharks, not any of the bigger ones, but yeah, I would say I'm afraid of being attacked by a shark just because it would hurt and death, but not necessarily the sharks themselves, if that makes sense. I don't know. The next person was Autumn Lake Wolf, and they said waves of water. I wouldn't say I'm specifically afraid of them, but they can be scary, especially the big ones, because drowning, and like I'm a pretty good swimmer, but riptide currents and all those things can be scary. So this isn't something I'm afraid of, but I totally see how/why you would be afraid of it. Also, if my game is a little bit laggy, it's because the equestrian festival, as you can see, is happening right now, and there's so many people here, so my game has been like more laggy than it usually is, so I apologize in advance if that is an issue. But moving on. The next person is Kate Murphy _ equestrian, and they said the spiders in SSO. I would agree with this too. I think the spiders in SSO are horrifying, and they kind of have cute faces, but overall I don't like how they scurry next to you. It freaks me out, especially if you don't remember that you like have one out of your saddlebag. I don't own any, but that's part of the reason I won't, because they like crawl around and it's scary. Yeah, I don't know, random. But the next person is Craftaloo5, and they said tornadoes, weird, I know, I'm not scared of fire, snow, anything else, I just hate storms. I don't know if I'm afraid of this. I think it would be scary if it happened, but it's not something that I consistently worry about. I kind of like storms. I like the sound of them and falling asleep to them, but I can see if it was a really intense storm. Luckily, I don't live somewhere. I mean, I live somewhere where tornadoes could happen, but rarely happen, and if they do, they're usually pretty small, so I don't think this is like an everyday fear that I face, but I could totally see if you lived in a place where they do happen more frequently and like more drastically, how that could be a fear. I mean, I could totally see how all of these are fears. I don't know. I want to make sure that all of your fears are validated, if that makes sense. I also never noticed those geese or swans there. I don't know. Okay, we got stuck at a jump, so I had to restart the race. But the next person said that they were afraid of losing all of their gaming accounts and all the money that they've spent on it. Yes, this is actually a genuine fear of mine, especially my Star Stable account, just because I've had this account since I was a kid and I've worked really hard on it, and it's the only— I have an alt account, but it's not up to the same level or anything close to my actual account. It would take forever to do the quests again to get where I am now, and I simply don't have the time for that. So I definitely have this fear for Star Stable. This account is like my child. It's also just my YouTube name. If I lost this account, who would averydawnside be? I don't know. Also, I think we're gonna get stuck at literally the same spot that we got stuck in the first place. Okay, wait. Oh, we were so close. Anyways, so I definitely experienced this fear too. The next person is Abby _ Mountain Hawk, and they said clowns, all clowns. Yes, I would agree with this. They are not my top fear, but I was alive during the era of where the clowns would just run on the streets and like scare people. I don't really remember what was going on in that time era or why that was a thing, but I was alive during that, and that was definitely a concern for me. The clowns were scary, so I agree with this, especially in horror movies and things. I just don't mess with that at all. The next person said, from Bethany _ Emeraldstone 4, they said walking alone in the dark, even though I like to take a late night walk. I agree, I like late night walks, but it can be scary because you never know what's around the corner or who is out and about. This is something that I have to deal with every day because I walk to and from my classes, and some of them happen later at night, especially like when it would get darker earlier. So this is definitely also a fear that I understand and face. But yes. The next person said spiders. I'm not horrified by spiders, but they definitely are icky, but they don't necessarily scare me. Like, they make me uneasy, but they don't terrify me. Also, my training skills are not doing well today. If you are watching the screen, you would know that. But anyways, let's see a few more. Well, this is an interesting one. Invisible.Lions said seaweed. Seaweed doesn't scare me, but I can see how it could be scary because I actually do know someone who has a friend of like a friend who their son died because of seaweed, because they were swimming and they got tangled in it, and yeah, so I can see how that's a fear. It's not something that I am afraid of because I really only swim in water that doesn't have seaweed, or I try to stay away from it, but I can see if you like didn't know that it was there, it could be scary. The next person said the ocean. The ocean doesn't necessarily scare me. I think there's a lot of beauty to it, but yeah, it can be nerve-wracking, but I think I try to focus on the good things about it that don't scare me, but I can see how it's scary. The next person is Anna Friending. Yeah, Anna Friending, and they said losing my cat. That would scare me so much. Baby girl is my life. Oh no, we reached our max limit of your shillings. Okay, we will buy something while I talk. Yeah, that would be really scary for me to lose my cat, because baby girl, as you all know, is like the love of my life, and I just couldn't imagine losing her. I would not be able to sleep at night, I don't think. What should we buy? I don't know. Let's go to Tops. Oh, I feel like I probably need more black things, like black shirts and things. So we'll just buy that and keep training. Okay, getting back into it. The next person is Courtney.Polarclaw, and they said hamsters. I got bit by one, and that just knocked all my confidence around them. Hamsters can be really intimidating, like especially ones that bite and things like that. No, I don't mess with that. We had a hamster, and I got bit by a hamster a couple times when I was younger, but it's not something I'm afraid of necessarily. But if I got bit by one like hard enough to remember it, I would be afraid of it too. The next person said losing loved ones. Yeah, this is a really big fear for me, because my family and the people that I love are really important to me. So I think losing loved ones is a huge fear for everyone. The next person said fireworks is what scares them. Fireworks don't actually scare me, but they're really loud and they scare my dog, so I do understand how/why someone would be afraid of fireworks. So I see you, I hear you, and your fears are valid, but I just think fireworks are pretty. So I think it would be harder for me to be afraid of them. I don't know. I think it's because I view the world with like a glass half full, so I try to look at the positives of things rather than the scariness of things. So that's why I don't resonate with a lot of these fears. Like, I understand them and how people could have them, but I don't necessarily have them. But then again, I don't really know exactly what I'm afraid of, so I don't know. That just got really deep. The next person said, from sin.coldeagle, said public speaking or doing things in front of people. I used to be afraid of this when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I have become less afraid of this. It definitely intimidates me, but doesn't scare me. The next submission is from Coco Rosewater, and they said heights and also deep things. Like when I'm in a lake that's really deep, it freaks me out. I agree with this so hard. If I have my legs dangling just in the ocean or somewhere like dark that I can't see below my feet, it's horrifying. I feel way too vulnerable when that happens, and it's just not a pleasant experience. You know, wouldn't recommend. So I would definitely agree. And then Ava Clearwood said toes. My sister is afraid of toes. I'm not afraid of toes, but interesting fear. And then someone also said that I'm petrified of butterflies. One comes near me and I'll run. And that was submitted from adalevine.ek. Butterfly is interesting. I don't know. I have a butterfly tattoo on my back, so I don't think I can be afraid of them, but I can see how they could be scary if they landed on you. I think they're really pretty, but I could see how they could be scary. Also, I stopped moving because my game is super duper laggy right now and it's making it really hard to train. So we're just gonna keep doing submissions while I stand here because it's super duper laggy. HaydenKnightlake.art said jump scares in movies, specifically ocean related, no 47 meters down for me. I actually really liked that movie, but definitely jump scares in movies. I don't watch horror movies anymore because it's too scary. Yeah, I absolutely recognize that fear too. The next person said walking past the basement when I'm home alone. I feel like every person has a room in their house that makes them a little bit eerie or like scared to go near it. So I agree with that one. I would say mine is probably looking into my backyard at night because my backyard is a forest. So anything could pop out of it and that's slightly horrifying. That is going to be all of the submissions that I read today. I didn't get to very many, so I might do this again when the game is a little bit less laggy. But as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. I love you all so much, and I hope you're having a fantastic life right now. So I will see you in the next video. I love you. Thanks for watching. Bye!